Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, greetings from the YouTube live chat studios here in hot and sweaty Florida in the Panhandle, near Pensacola, north of Navarre Beach. And Karina and I are waiting for our welcome letter from the National Visa Center, the NVC. And our NOA 1 letter is dated April 18th, 2022. And our NOA 2 letter is dated May 30th, 2023. Now, when I mailed the K1 visa package back in April, I mailed it and it only took 4 days to get the NOA 1 letter. That was pretty quick. I was surprised. I thought I made a mistake. I got the letter in the mailbox and I opened it up and there was the NOA 1 letter. I thought I messed up. No, they were just quick. But I hope everybody's doing well. Karina right now is at work in her store in Bogota, Colombia. And she told me she wants to visit the coffee region of Colombia when I go back to pick her up and bring her to the United States. Because once we get the welcome letter from the NVC, there's really not much to the welcome letter. Basically, it's just saying, hey, Diego, we got your visa package from USCIS. That's all it is. And then what happens is the visa center will put a case number on it, and then they will be calling the embassy in Bogota, Colombia, saying, hey, are you guys busy? Are you guys busy? We got Diego and Karina's K1 visa package here. We want to get rid of it. We want to send it to you in Colombia. Jeff Mantock says, I got my letter within a week also. Yeah, Jeff. It was a quick turnaround from when I mailed the K1 visa package to the lockbox in Dallas, and I used UPS. It was a pretty quick turnaround. So, things are moving pretty quick. So what will happen is when I get the welcome letter from the National Visa Center, okay, I'm not going to do anything that said, okay, that's good. That's the case number. There's nothing else I can do until I get the ready status. When I get the ready status from the embassy in Bogota, that's when I can pay the visa fee, schedule the visa interview. And then by that time, I'll already be in Bogota, Colombia, doing the live stream for you guys from Bogota, way up in the Andes Mountains, where the weather's cold, wet, and rainy. And Reg68 has a question for me. Is it advisable to wear your engagement ring to the interview? No. Don't wear your engagement rings to the interview. Don't wear any rings to the interview. What you can do is bring the engagement ring in a little case that it came in, okay? And then if you get a question from the immigration officer, did you guys have an engagement ceremony? You can say, why, yes, I did. And look, here's my engagement ring. What do you think? How beautiful. And then you close it and put it back in your purse or your bag. But do not give any indication to an immigration officer they think you got married. Now, I'm wearing a promise ring on my hand, okay? That just tells everybody that I'm promised to Karina, all right? So I'm, not like anybody's going to bother me anyway, but I wear it. But when I go to the visa interview with Karina, this comes off. Oh, that comes off. I'm not going to wear it to the interview in Bogota, and Karina won't wear hers either. Okay, that protects you from an immigration officer thinking something that's not right, because you guys are single or divorced or widowed, right? Or you had an annulment in your marriage. So keep it that way. And also, do not ever send pictures of an engagement party in your K1 visa package that shows you wearing your cultural attire. Like there's our friends in Africa. I've been to South Africa. I've been to North Africa. It's a beautiful part of the world. And they wear beautiful costumes at their engagement parties. Okay. And I went to an engagement party back in 1991 in North Africa. I was just there as a guest, and the person looked like they were getting married. Okay. So if you have a big engagement party, please don't include these pictures in your K1 visa package. The immigration officer may not understand your culture, okay, in beautiful Africa, and may assume you guys were getting married. And then your visa gets denied. Boom. You know, don't create that perception. But once once I get the welcome letter from the National Visa Center, okay, there's nothing I can do really except just wait for the ready status. I'll check maybe occasionally. Okay, it's in transit. In transit means the MVC are done with it, and they've mailed it through DHL on an airplane to the embassy in Bogota. Bogota gets it. They send me a ready status. Once I get the ready status, then that's when things start moving. I'm on the phone with Karina. Hey, my beautiful queen. Guess what? Guess what? I'm buying plane ticket to Colombia. We get stuff to do. We get ready and get busy. We got to get a medical exam done. We got to do this. We're going to go look for a wedding dress in Bogota. Brian and Jacqueline. Hi, Diego. Hi, Brian and Jacqueline. It's good to see you guys. Jin Ganesh. Hi, Diego. Hey, Jin. How's everybody? Now, I'm an old man, so I can't remember where you guys are from. So, I mean, you don't have to say, but it just helps me remember which part of the world you're watching us from. So when I get to Bogota, guys, I'm going to go with Karina and look for a wedding attire, wedding dresses, things like that, and wedding rings. Okay? So long into the future, okay, when we have a family and our family's grown up a little bit, I can tell my kids, guess what? Papi got this wedding ring for Mama in Colombia. How neat is that? Nica Siete, Senator Marco Rubio's office sent me a consent form for me to fill out so they can help me with my K-1 visa case. I'm the guy who has the case in Managua, Nicaragua, U.S. Embassy. Right. Now that's important because Senator Rubio, I've known Senator Rubio for about 15 years. Okay, he's a good guy. And he's all in on supporting legal immigration to the United States. All right. I've known Senator Rubio for a long time. He's a good. He will help you. His staff are good, but you have to sign a consent form giving his office personnel who have been assigned to immigration matters permission to call and work with USCIS. Immigration won't talk to anybody about your case unless you give them permission. Okay. And it's good. It protects your privacy. Nick Siete, you were kind enough to give me his office information along with J.R. Sanchez. Yeah, J.R. Sanchez is Senator Rubio's outreach director. Okay, I've been friends with J.R. Sanchez for a long, long time. I mean, I would drive down to Central Florida and we would go out and eat steak dinners together. He's a good guy, and he's Senator Rubio's right-hand man. Okay, Senator Rubio and J.R. Sanchez both speak fluent Spanish. And fluent English. Okay, they're good people, and I'm very proud and honored to be their friends. Brian and Jacqueline, hi Diego, how are you doing? Brian and Jacqueline, I'm doing fantastic. Karina's doing fantastic. She is right now at work in northern Bogota. She's helping her friend Mihai. Well, I'm going to get in trouble if I mispronounce her name. She's helping Mihai set up her ice cream store in northern Bogota. And Karina, she's a tax accountant. She's a business entrepreneur. She's your great capitalist. She's going to fit in great here in the United States. Let's see here. Daggy, hi Diego. Hey Daggy, how is you? Now Daggy, you're in Maryland, right? I think you're in Maryland. Jen Ganesh, we are in the K-1 visa process. My NOA-1 date was July 8th, 2022. Well, you're going to get your NOA-2 letter pretty soon, Jen Ganesh, this month or early next month. Brian and Jacqueline, I'm here in Sacramento, California, and my fiance is in Armenia, Colombia. Okay, just waiting for the embassy in Bogota. Yeah, that's great, Brian and Jacqueline. The embassy in Bogota is open for business. Okay, they are processing K-1 visas, IR-1 visas, CR-1 visas like crazy. They're doing a great job. So high five to the embassy personnel in Bogota, Colombia. And I will be in Colombia soon, as soon as I get this welcome letter thing deal wrapped up. Jeff, and don't worry, guys, I'm going to continue the live stream. I'm going to continue to help you guys through this visa process. long after Karina's here in Florida, long after we get married, and I want to continue this. Okay, it's important work, so I'm just not going to abandon you guys after we get our visa. I'm going to keep on going. Let's see here. So Jeff Mantalk, my fiance is bringing a son with her. Do I need to make a separate packet for his interview? For her son, you're going to need an I-134. Okay, you're going to need a DS-160 filled out and printed, and a confirmation page printed. And so you're going to have those for him separate. Okay, I-134, declaration of financial support for your beneficiary. I-134 filled out and signed by you for your new stepson. So, and a DS-160 for your beneficiary, and a DS-160 confirmation page for your stepson to be. So whatever you do for your future bride, you got to do for her son, your future stepson. Liz, hello, Diego and Karina. How are you? We received NOA2 May 31st. How much longer for NVC? 90 days. Liz, hang in there. 90 days. 100 days, 65, 90, 100 days, 110 days. Right in there. How much longer can NVC welcome letter be delayed? It's not being delayed. It's in process. Daggy, yes, it's so hot and humid. Yeah, it's hot in Florida. I tell you, today we had a big thunderstorm, but in the Panhandle, but it's hot. Brian and Jacqueline, I have a question, Diego. Did the embassy in Bogota suspend the visa processing recently? Not that I'm aware of. Never heard of that. I've been watching my fingers on the pulse of the embassy in Bogota. Trust me. And I don't ever recall seeing that happening. Now, I saw a lot of posts in the drama of Facebook, complaining a little bit. I think it was about Bogota, but I didn't see their operations suspended at all. Never saw it. Reg 68, son's fiance was denied visa to come to the U.S. for the summer twice. They dated online, got engaged next year. He visited her 3 times. Will this cause more security on her case? No. Tourist visas get denied every day. The U.S. government apparently don't like tourists. But that's because a lot of tourists are coming to America and bypassing the K-1 visa process and getting married. So it's irritating the State Department. So they're basically haven't given people a hard time on the B2. Jen Ganesh, we are all the way in the Caribbean in a country called Guyana. Yeah, I know where Guyana is. You're close to Venezuela. Beautiful country. Mackenzie Owens, how long does it take the IRS to fulfill the tax documents that we need them for the K-1 interview? Well, for about 5 days ago, I called the IRS and asked for my 2022 tax transcripts. It hasn't showed up yet. Denise Jefferson, hey, Denise. Hello, Diego. Hope that you and Karina are well. My fiance did an official proposal in front of his family. Whoa, nice. Okay to include the photos from that day? Oh, sure, absolutely. As long as it does not look like a wedding ceremony. Exactly. Okay. If this is it's a fantastic thing, the way that happened, okay? But you can include, don't put any pictures in there that look like you're in a wedding dress, okay? As long as you're in regular clothes, and don't forget to identify who's in the picture and the day that it was taken and the event. So it's going to be engagement party, and then list the names of the people, and then this was the day and the date. Good job, Denise. Yeah, but don't include any pictures in a K-1 visa package that looks like you were in a wedding. Good gracious. Let's play bills. Hello, Diego. I was wondering, how long does the process take currently? Currently, my fiance is here in the United States with me, and we are just about to start the process, but she is on a tourist visa. Okay, let's play. Don't get married on a tourist visa. Don't do that. Don't do that. But right now, it's taking about 18 months for the whole process. But because your fiance has a tourist visa, okay, then boom, it's easy to travel back and forth to the United States because it's good for 10 years. So it won't be too bad of a separation. Brian and Jacqueline, because our I-129F was approved April 4th, 2023, I sent an email to the NVC just to check on the status because we haven't heard anything. They sent an email today with the case number, NVC case number. Great, Brian and Jacqueline, that's great. Good news. Good job. But you need the ready status and the invoice number. Basically, it's what you're waiting on now. It's quick. Jeff Mentok. Thank you, Diego. No problem, Jeff. Brian and Jacqueline, they said they are unable to ship it to Bogota because of concerns over COVID. The NVC said, who said that? Who said they cannot ship the K1 visa to Bogota? Brian and Jacqueline. So the NVC told you that. That doesn't make sense because yesterday, 2 days ago, somebody just got approved, just had a face-to-face interview at the embassy. Daggy, I received beneficiary ID and invoice ID numbers today. However, I still haven't received the case number or the welcome letter. Hang in there. Vishal Goya, why do we need second letter of intent? Because the immigration says so. Immigration says you got to have a second letter of intent. You give them a second letter of intent. I don't control the process, guys. Okay. Fred Subkey. Hello, my fiance and I applied and were approved for K1 in 2021. She came across with her daughter, but we did not get married before the 90 days. We were approved again May 22nd. Hello, my fiance and I applied and were approved for K1 in 2021. She came across with her daughter, but we did not get married before in the 90 days. Yeah, you got to get married in 90 days or the visa is terminated. We were approved again May 22nd. So you got a second chance. That's okay. You had to go through. So basically what you're telling me is you repeated the process all over again because you didn't do the 90-day thing. Okay. You're okay. As long as, you weren't deported or anything, there's no problem there. You're good. And as long as you told immigration that what happened when you filed your second K1 visa, you explained what happened. Liz, thank you very much for all the videos as they help me to have patience during this long, difficult waiting. Yeah, it's difficult, but just be patient. You get through it. Brian and Jacqueline, I couldn't remember either because I always check and read everything I can also. I just thought that I missed something after receiving the email from the NVC. So the NVC today sent you an email and said the embassy is not in Bogota is not taking K1 visas packages because of COVID. I've never heard of that. Just 2 days ago, let me see. It was on Friday. Somebody went to their visa interview in Bogota. Randall Wheat spoke with you today. Randall, yeah. Randall Wheat, right. I remember NOA 1, July 11th, 2022, application approved today, July 10th, 2022. I thank you so much for all you do again. No problem, Randall. Glad to help you. I'm glad the videos helped you get through to this part of the process. Liz, Diego, do you know anything about the wait times for appointments at the Ecuadorian embassy? I tell everybody it's like 2 to 4 months. The embassy, basically the wait times at embassies depends on the ambassador, depends on the embassy staff, depends on the workload. It's hard to answer that question. I'll make a video tomorrow about the complete process for a couple in Algeria. So a couple in Algeria just got their visa approved, put in their passport and everything. I'll make a video so that will give you an idea about Algeria. But for Ecuador, I don't know. Denise Jefferson, Diego, have you heard of any success interview stories out of Lagos? That's in Nigeria, right? Recently, I read they have not opened up since COVID. I haven't seen anything from Nigeria, Denise, but I'll investigate. I mean, I can look into it for you, but they should open up. Daggy, how long have we to wait to get case number after we receive the invoice number? Well, normally you get the case number first, then the invoice number. I don't know how you got the invoice number first. You just I don't know. You get the case number, then you get the invoice number from the embassy when you get the ready status. Reg 68, does first letter of intent require fiancé to send her letter via FedEx to the US for initial application? Okay. Your beneficiary in her home country needs to write a letter of intent to get married, sign it in black ink, date it, and then you need it, Mr. Sponsor, to send in the K1 visa package. You got to have it. However she gets it to you, FedEx, UPS, DHL is probably the safest way. Brian and Jacqueline, due to COVID-19 concerns, the U.S. Embassy or Consulate General in Bogota, Colombia suspended routine services. Okay, when did they do that? That's today? They did that today? I haven't seen anything about that. Brian and Jacqueline, the National Visa Center will not forward K-1 visa petitions to Bogota, Colombia until they resume routine visa services. This is part of the email I received today. Okay, that's interesting information because 2 days ago, a lady and a gentleman just got their K-1 visa application approved. So I need to investigate that. Maybe the email's out of date. Maybe they haven't updated the email process. I don't know. But the embassy in Bogota has been processing visas. They're working on the weekends. Fami Mimi. Hello. In fact, there's a couple. There's a couple. The young man right now is in Bogota, and his visa appointment is in 2 weeks at the embassy in Bogota. Fame Mimi. Hello, Diego. How are you? And Karina, I hope everything is going well with the process. Doing good. Hanging in there, guys. We're doing good. Gomez Nadley. Hello, Diego. How long does it take USCIS to accept the RFE? It's anywhere from 3 to 6 weeks is the turnaround time. Depends on what they have to investigate. Brian and Jacqueline, I'm hoping they are wrong because I've been following all of your videos and I also thought they were processing visas. The U.S. Embassy in Bogota, Colombia are processing K-1 visas. I don't know how you got that email because there's a couple 2 days ago just got their K-1 visa in their passport and they told me about it. And then in 2 weeks, there's a young man and his bride-to-be getting their K-1 visa processed in face-to-face at the embassy. So I don't know. Tina, hi Diego. Can my fiance work with a social security number? Let me see. Let me read that again. Where did it go? I was about ready to read it, then it disappeared. Let's see here. Can my fiance work with a social security number while waiting for a green card? No, you got to have a green card too. You got to have a green card. That's the work authorization. Social security number gives you permission to open up a bank account, get a driver's license and things like that. But the green card is what allows you to work. So you can't work without a green card. Fred Subke, when my fiance went back to Mex after our first try, we drove across and have no proof that she crossed back before the 90 days. We have pictures and proof that she is in Mexico now for our second K-1 approval. Okay, no problem. You'll be all right. Yo nerd. Hi, Diego. I hope you're doing well. Is the NOA2 enough evidence to demonstrate an approved I-129F? I never received the approved petition packet. The NOA2 letter is saying that the service center has approved your K-1 visa to this point. Okay? So up to this, now it has to go to the National Visa Center, then the embassy. The National Visa Center don't adjudicate visas. They just process case numbers. If the National Visa Center finds a problem with the K-1 visa package, they can send it back to USCIS, but they can't deny the visa. Only USCIS or the embassy can do that. Okay? So you're good. Brian and Jacqueline, this is what my fiance and I are hoping is that the email was wrong or they have bad information or something. We really do appreciate any information, Diego. Brian and Jacqueline, 2 days ago, what day is it today? I don't even remember what day it is today. I can't remember. But 2 days ago, I believe, or 3 days ago, there was a couple that went to the embassy in Bogota and got their visas put in the past. They got it approved. And in 2 weeks, there is a young man going to the visa interview in Bogota, Colombia with his beneficiary. He's in Colombia right now. He's there right now. He's gonna accompany her back to the USA. So, that's just like when that's like when immigration says there's a 16.5-month wait for an NOA2 letter, and it's taken 12 months. The email is probably needs to be updated. The NVC are sending visas to Bogota. The embassy's open. Okay, Jacob. Myers, hello, Diego. Hey, Jacob. Jacob Myers, when I change my last name to his on all my stuff, it will be fine instead of changing his to mine. You can do whatever you want to do. However you want to do it, Jacob, is totally legal and fine. It's perfectly good. Daggy, I sent a public inquiry last week and they sent me the invoice and beneficiary IDs today. Good. Okay. And they told me they will be notified me once my case is forwarded to the assigned embassy. What shall I do? Okay, Daggy, now you wait for the embassy to contact you. Okay. Good job. Just wait. Bud Garcia, hello, Diego from Washington State. My NOA 1 is September 19th, 2022. When do you think I will receive my NOA 2? I would say by the middle of September of this year. Very soon. You're going to be quick, bud. Cruz 2202, Diego, 82 days waiting for NVC case number and welcome letter from my embassy. Will be in the Dominican Republic. There was a couple that just got their visa approved in the Dominican Republic today. I'll make a video about that for you guys. Dominican Republic and Algeria just approved visas in face-to-face visa interviews. And Bogota, Colombia, 3 days ago, 2 or 3 days ago. Last week, a few days ago. Let me see. Hope to get it this month. My approval was NOA 2, April 18th, 2023. Jacob Myers, but like that works for out of the change of status, right? Change of status. I don't understand the question there, Jacob. Out of status, change of status. What? Denise Jefferson, Diego, I've heard you say that the DS-160 is only good for 30 days. Yes, that's true. Can you clarify what is meant by that, as I believe that the results page needed to be part of your final package or visa request? Well, the DS-160, when you fill it out and then you save it, if you're going to hold it and save it on the computer, it's only good for 30 days. It's best to fill out the DS-160 when you have your visa interview scheduled. So you know your visa interview is going to be in 3 weeks. Go ahead and fill out the DS-160, print the confirmation page, and then you have it, and it's good, and it's in the time frame before it expires, which is 30 days. So print it within 3 weeks before the visa interview. That's what I would do. That's what I did on my first go around. And then I had to do a DS-260 for the spousal interview. And the DS-260, and I did that. And I printed it about 2 weeks before the interview. Kaiser H, hello, Diego. On the welcome letter from the NVC, will I get both the NVC case number and also the invoice? No, you're going to get the case number on the welcome letter. And then you get the invoice number from the embassy when it's in the ready status. So that's when you're going to get it, okay, from the embassy. If the MVC gives you an invoice number, then that means that you can schedule the visa interview, pay the fees and everything else. But the embassy may not be ready for you. They may not have space for you right now. Okay, so you got to wait for the invoice number from the embassy. Hedrex, hello, Diego. What part of the Declaration of Financial Support should I put my future 8-year-old daughter information? I did for my fiance already, but I'm not trying to make a mistake. Okay, when you fill out your I-134 for your beneficiary, you're going on the I-134. Okay, it's going to say your beneficiary's name, and then you're going to put. It's going to ask you what is your relationship to her, and then under her name on that I-134, you're going to put your 8-year-old stepdaughter's name. And then it's going to ask for a number of dependents, and you're going to put 1. So you're going to have 1 dependent for your beneficiary, okay, on the I-134 for your beneficiary. Then you're going to fill out a second I-134 for your future stepdaughter, just like you did for your beneficiary. But instead of putting, you're going to put her name on there, and the number of dependents will be 0. Your beneficiary, your future beneficiary's daughter is 8 years old. Okay, so she's going to have 0 dependents. Okay, so you're going to have 2 I-134s, 1 for your beneficiary, and on her I-134, on that I-134, It's going to say her name, and then her daughter's, your future stepdaughter's name. Number of dependents, 1. Then you're going to fill out a second I-134 for your 8-year-old, and it's going to put number of dependents, 0. Okay? It's easy to do. Basically, just copy the I-134 for your stepdaughter to be exactly like your beneficiaries, but you're going to change the name. And there's going to be 0 dependents, not 1 dependent. That's going to be the difference. Okay. Gabe, hi Diego. I got a social host ticket a while back in college. Just had to pay the ticket at court. It's not on my record. Do I need to disclose it for I-129F form? You got a social host ticket. What is a social host ticket? Well, you misbehaving in college? Gabe, what is, who did you pay the ticket to? What court was that? What I would do is I would do this. Make a copy of, go to the court that you went to, whatever court it was, have them print the incident and include it in your I-129F and let immigration figure it out. Okay. To me, it sounds like nothing. It's like a nothing deal. I don't know what a social, whatever the problem was, go to the courthouse, have them print it, and include it in your I-129F. That shows full disclosure on your part, okay? Because if this went through some kind of a court proceeding, it's going to show up on an FBI police check. They'll catch it, so include it. But to me, it sounds to me it's very minor. It's not going to block you from getting your visa, from what I can tell. Now, I'm not an immigration attorney, okay? I don't give any legal advice, 0. But that's my opinion. Go to the courthouse, get it printed, include it. I didn't have to for my N400 and I got approved. Okay, there you go. I just don't know what the offense was. To me, it sounds irrelevant. Daggy, so what shall I do to get the case number since the NVC provides the invoice instead of my situation is the opposite? Yeah, you're in a backward situation. Email the NVC, do a case inquiry, and ask them for the case number. Excuse me, guys. Florida pollen, Florida humidity. You got to email the NVC and ask for the case number. Okay, Daggy. Denise, thank you. So the confirmation page for the DS-160 needs to be dated within 30 days of the interview. That's it. That makes sense. You got it. Denise, you got it. Your live chats are super informative. Denise, I'm going to help pull you over the finish line. I know it's not an easy process. It's confusing. You got to have a PhD in something, right, to get a K-1 visa. So what I did was I have deconstructed it, and I've decomplicated it down to the lowest common denominator so you all can understand it, including myself. Because the way immigration set it up, it's like, I got to get an attorney. This thing's too complicated. But it really isn't. It's just the way it's explained by immigration. That's complicated. So what I did was I took their complicated process and made it easy and put it into a YouTube channel for you guys. So that way you guys can relax and get your visas without paying all these horrendous immigration fees. So that's the goal. And I'm going to help you guys, okay? Daggy, have you heard anyone in a similar situation? Daggy, never have. You're the first. You got it. High five. You're number 1. You got it first. But you got to contact the NVC for the case number. They create case numbers at the National Visa Center in New Hampshire. They create them, okay? And then the embassy in Bogota or wherever, Ecuador, Peru, Chile, Brazil, they create the invoice numbers. Alexa Digital. Hello, Mr. Diego. What follows when the letter from NVC arrives? Do the medical exams follow? How long is the approximate time to continue with the exam? Okay, Alexa, here's what you do. So you got the welcome letter from the NVC. Now you're going to wait for the ready status from the embassy. When the embassy is ready for you, then you can go into the SEAC, create a SEAC account. On the NVC welcome letter, they sent you an email, right? Go into the email, say, go into this website, create a SEAC account. You go and you create an account. You pick your country. I'll pick Colombia with the ready status, and then I can fill out the DS-160, schedule the visa interview. And then your beneficiary needs to call the doctor, the civil surgeon in his or her country, and schedule the medical exam. Okay, and you want to get this all done within 3 weeks. So you get the medical exam done, and then you got your visa interview 2 or 3 weeks later, and then in between that time you put the DS-160 together. And then you got the printout, the confirmation page of the DS-160. Denise Jefferson, so in response to Gabe's question, a minor infraction even more than 30 years ago should be disclosed. I would say yes. Disclose it. FBI is going to find it, you know. All infractions can cause you a denial. No, you won't get denied because of some stupid speeding ticket, you know. If you got a speeding ticket, you know, you don't have to disclose speeding tickets, but the question that I was asked was, you know, I didn't understand what the issue was. I didn't understand what the charge was. I don't know if it's a misdemeanor. I have no idea what it is. So if I don't know what it is, you know, if you got a speeding ticket going, you know, 20 over the limit on I-40, you don't have to include that. Immigration is going to find out. The FBI is going to come up on an FBI check, but a speeding ticket is not going to be a problem for an immigration visa. It's not going to cause the denial at all. Okay, not at all. I got a speeding ticket in New Mexico. I was on where was I at? I was in Santa Fe. I think I was in Santa Fe, and the state trooper pulled me over, and I was in my Navy uniform. And apparently he was an Army reservist who didn't like Navy guys. So I got a ticket for going 10 over the limit. So that showed up on my FBI check. Did it get me a denial for getting a speeding ticket 25 years ago in New Mexico? No, it's no big deal, you know. Okay, but it's on my FBI check. My speeding ticket in New Mexico popped up. I was like, oh, cool. Look at that. How neat. The Army didn't like the Navy, but I was speeding, so he did his job. He did a good job. He did what he had to do. But he told me he was Army and didn't like Navy. Let's see. Denise, no, minor infractions, if you don't disclose it, if it's like a speeding ticket, parking ticket, something like that, you don't have to disclose it. But I didn't understand what the problem was. So no, not the only infractions that can cause a denial for a K-1 visa is domestic abuse. You know, if domestic violence, abuse against children, you know, felonies, stuff like that. And the felony has to be serious, a serious felony. You know, 3 DUIs will be a problem. If you've got one DUI isn't good, but it's not going to be a problem for a K-1 visa. But if you got 3, that's going to be a problem. That's when you need to bring in an immigration attorney. Okay, that's when you bring in an immigration attorney to review your case. Then they're good. Then you're good. They give the good advice in that case. That's money well spent. Daggy, even if they said they'll notify me once my case transfers to the embassy, will they not upset with me sending a public inquiry a week apart? No, Daggy, you can send a public inquiry. You have a legitimate question. What's my case number? That's a legitimate question. Ask them. They'll tell you. You're good. Relax, Daggy. Daggy, we're gonna have to get you calm during this process. We're gonna have to calm you down. Tina, I was told by someone you can work if you have a social security number. Just wanted to clarify. Well, the work authorization is the green card. Social security number is not a work authorization. Okay, you got to have a green card. And in Florida, they got to do E-Verify. Okay, so you got to have a green card to work. You know, just like some people apply for an EAD card, a work permit before their green card. Got to have a green card or an EAD to work in Florida or in the United States, anywhere. Got to have it. Hannah 101. Hey, Hannah, what is going on with Hannah? Headrax. Thank you, Diego. God bless you. Headrax, I'm going to help you with this I-134, okay? The Declaration of Financial Support, okay? You have one for your beneficiary, right? And one for your 8-year-old to be, your future stepson or stepdaughter, excuse me, okay? You're going to fill out two I-134s. The one for your beneficiary, she doesn't sign it. You sign it. The one for your stepchild, you sign it, both of them, okay, and date it in black ink. On your beneficiary's I-134, it's going to put her name, and under her name is going to be your stepdaughter. Number of dependents, 1. On your stepdaughter's I-134, it's going to be her name, number of dependents, 0, and everything else is going to be the same. Okay, the rest, that's the only difference between the two. Okay. Let's see here. I'm Jago. Hi, Diego. How are you? Watching from Indonesia. Well, we love our friends in Indonesia. Beautiful part of the world, beautiful country. Very relaxed, calm. The people in Indonesia are just like real chilled, real laid back, very calm people. And beautiful, beautiful part of the world. And we love Indonesia. And Nelson Godwin, New Mexico, land of entrapment. Yeah, I got a speeding ticket, it was in Santa Fe, New Mexico. I'm in a government vehicle, GV plates, in a Navy uniform, going about 10 over. And I get pulled over by a state trooper, and he says, I'm Army Reserve. I'm like, I don't care if you're in the Marine Corps, dude. What's the wrong? You were speeding 10 over. I said, well, in Florida, I can drive 10 over. You know, the cops here give you a little bit of leeway. Well, this is New Mexico. I don't like Navy. I'm Army. I said, oh, okay. So I got a ticket. I paid it. No big deal. You know, but they messed up because the sheriff's department, or wherever, the state police in New Mexico, sent my ticket to my address in Florida, because I'm a resident of Florida, but I was in the Navy stationed in New Mexico. So the state police sent my ticket, whatever receipt, whatever it is, to Florida, to my address here in Florida. I think I got it like about a year later, but I paid my ticket, and it showed up on my FBI check, you know, from 25 years ago. Anyway, that's water under the bridge. The Army didn't like the Navy guy. That's no problem. But New Mexico, I love New Mexico. It's a beautiful part of the country. If you get a chance, visit New Mexico, eat the green chili, go to Blake's and eat their green chili. It's good food, good Mexican food there. Alexa Digital. Thank you, Mr. Diego, for answering the question. All the good energy, and I wish God bless you. Greetings from Colombia, Alexa, and good energy for you, and buena suerte for you and your family in beautiful Colombia. We love Colombia. I'll be in Colombia soon. Just waiting on this welcome letter to get here. Okay. And then I got to get my laptop set up. I got to pry my laptop out of Karina's hands and use it for our K1 visa live streams. So you guys don't miss me. So I don't miss you guys. Mr. Najas. Hi, Mr. Diego. Still waiting and waiting and waiting for NOA2. Mr. Najas, you're going to get your NOA2 letter. Immigration didn't forget about you. They didn't. There's people, there was somebody last week, got their NOA2 letter, and they were from January of 2022. A January filer of 2022 got his NOA2 letter last week. Can't remember the date. What's today? I think it was like four days ago. That's a pretty long wait. but he got it. He got it in his hand. He's happy as a clam. Doggy, I'll be calm and not worried thanks to your kind advice. Doggy, I'm going to help you get through this. You're going to do it. You can do it. Okay? You can do this, guys. Kenny Messenger, greetings from Mexico, Diego. Hola in Mexico. Have a blessed day, my friends. Keep up your great work, changing many people's lives. Much appreciated. Kenny Messenger, we're going to help everybody. Okay? It's not easy going through a visa process. Okay? A lot of people ask me, hey, my beneficiary, her B2 tourist visa was denied. Okay. Is that going to hurt my K1 visa? No, it's got nothing to do with it. A B2 visa is a tourist visa. The immigration officer looked in the computer and saw that perhaps she was in a K1 visa process, and she didn't bring it up at the interview, so he denied the visa. But you know what? She got her K1 visa, and now they're happily married, living in Arizona. So she got her B2 tourist visa denied. Okay, she was all worried. This was about 6 months ago. Diego, I'm not going to get my K1 visa. I'm so afraid. I got my B2 tourist visa was denied. And I said to her, well, why did you tell the immigration officer in the embassy face-to-face that you have a K1 visa in process? No, I didn't. Okay, well, that's why you didn't tell them. They already know. Immigration already knows you're in a K1 visa process. They're waiting for you to cough it up and say, well, I'm in the K1 visa process right now, and I would like to go to the United States on vacation to see my fiance because I miss him or her. Immigration officer will take that into consideration as honest. Now, I'm not saying that this person wasn't honest at all, okay, but she didn't bring it up. She was scared of the immigration officer. A lot of people are scared. Don't be scared of the process. It's not scary. You qualify for the benefit. You paid for the service. The Congress approves this. Don't be scared. U.S. Congress allows for this process. It's congressional law. Because of Vietnam veterans back in the day, Vietnam veterans were getting engaged to Vietnamese ladies. They couldn't bring them to the USA because the process was so intolerable. So all these Vietnam veterans wrote to their congressman or congresswoman, and Congress got tired. They got all inundated with all these letters from Vietnam vets and Vietnam active duty military in Vietnam. They said, hey, I want to bring my fiance back to America and get married, but you won't let me. What's up? This was back in the 70s. So Congress wrote the law for a K1 visa. They wrote the law because of Vietnam veterans. So if you are enjoying the benefit of a K1 visa, thank a Vietnam vet. I'm not a Vietnam veteran. I was Desert Storm. Okay, I was in Desert Storm. I was in the Eastern Mediterranean Sea in Desert Storm. But the Vietnam veterans is what created the K1 visa. Let's see here. K Messenger, yeah, thank you for checking in with us, K Messenger from beautiful Mexico. Beautiful Mexico. I've been to Mexico so many times. Denise Jefferson. So my fiance does not have to pay the lodging expense while waiting for it. Doesn't have to pay the lodging expense. Okay. I don't understand the question, Denise. When I go to Colombia with Karina, I'm paying the rent on my apartment. I'm paying the water bill, the electric bill. I'm paying for the internet. I am paying for the water, sewage, lights, internet, phone on my house here in Florida and on my apartment in Colombia. So, that's just part of the deal. I wish, when Karina gets here, I don't have to pay for the apartment in Bogota anymore. I save a bunch of money. Let's see here. So, Denise, you have a second part to the question. I saw the question that says, so my fiance does not have to pay the lodging expense while waiting for it. Let me see. What are we waiting for, Denise? I don't see the first part of the question, Denise. So, repeat it to me. Hedrex, thanks. Appreciate it. You got it, Hedrex, no problem. Come on, Denise, give me that question again because I don't see it. And I want to answer it for you so I can help you. I'm going to help you. The question you said to me back up here was so the confirmation page for the DS-160 needs to be dated within 30 days of the interview. That's right. That makes sense. Yeah, Denise. Okay, Denise. Diego, I raised a question prior and did not understand your response. Once gets approved for a visa at the interview, can embassy use DHL to have it shipped from Lagos to Owerri, capital Imo State? Okay, let me see here. I don't want to mess this up with the wrong answer. So what you're asking me is this. Once the K1 visa is in the passport, okay, after the interview, can the embassy use the DHL to have it shipped from Lagos to Owerri, the capital of Imo State. Okay, you set up all the pickup of the passport after the visa is embossed into the passport is set up online in the SIAC account. Okay, so when I schedule Karina's visa interview in Bogota, Colombia, they're going to ask me. Okay, now I understand. Now I understand your question. When you go into the SIAC account, okay, you're going to get a question. Where do you want to pick up your passport after it's been put into the passport? Where do you, once the visa's in the passport, where do you want to pick it up? They're going to ask you, what's your pickup location? Like in Colombia, I'll probably get a list of about 20 places in Bogota, which I can pick, and I'll call Karina and say, hey, what's closest to our apartment? I don't know the Ciudad. You know the Ciudad better than I do. What's the closest place to our apartment? And I'll list all these addresses, the calles, and she'll tell me this one. And then I'll say, okay, I'll schedule this address for the pickup point for her visa once it's put in her passport. I am sure that the same is going to apply to you, Denise, in for Nigeria. They're going to ask you, where do you want the visa to be picked up at? Where do you want it shipped to? They're going to ask you that. And then you get to choose. You get to pick. Okay? It's all part of the process when you get to the DS-160 stage. And that's how you do it. Denise Jefferson. Denise, you're going to keep me. Karina and I will high five for Denise for the super chat. Denise, thank you so much. We're going to eat. I'm going to get a big belly, I already do, from all your super chats because we're going to eat like kings and queens in Bogota, Colombia. Thank you, Denise, for that super chat. Much appreciated. It's hot and sweaty here in Florida. Look, my AC's, I can't get it to crank up, so I'm doing this without AC today. Oh, well, boo-hoo. But life continues, right? So you understand, Denise, right? When you go into the SIAC account, you're going to pick a place where you want the passport delivered to, okay? Same for me, for Karina. I'm going to go in and I'm going to look for where, okay, this is a good pickup point right here. Boom, I'll punch it in, and then the embassy will get that information. So then when we go to the face-to-face visa interview, they will take her passport, put the visa in it, and then they will ship it to that address that I put in the SIAC account. It's a very intelligent process. It's very well coordinated and highly coordinated. I got to give the government credit where it's due, and they have certainly put together a fantastic consular processing for visas. It's fantastic what they've done. Pete B, high five. You didn't forget me today, right, for my Mountain Dew. Okay, so tomorrow, from your super chat, I can go out and get another case of Mountain Dew. You're the man. And Denise is keeping Karina and I in quesadillas, in some great Colombian and Venezuelan food in our favorite restaurant. And we appreciate both of you for that. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. But the goal of this whole thing, this whole channel, is to get you guys through this process, okay, with as minimal stress as possible, with understanding the process. The process isn't difficult. But USCIS write the instructions like you got to be a PhD student on a dissertation, and it's complicated and people don't understand it and they get confused. So what I did was I deconfused. I basically put together the channel to make it so you understand how to do this. Guy Trainer, you sent me a message and then you deleted it. I didn't get the chance to read it. Denise Jefferson, perfect. Okay, so that means you understand now. You're good. You're good on the passport part of it. And I'm sorry I didn't get the first part of the question, but now hopefully you got it. It's easy to do. The embassy is going to ask you, where do you want to pick up the passport? And then you get to pick. And you push, boom. And Karina, when I go to Colombia to finish up this process, she wants to go to the coffee region of Colombia. Now, I've never been to the coffee region of Colombia, so Karina and I will probably zip to the coffee region. It's Antigua, I believe it is, or Caldas or Quindío, one of those places. Then we're going to go to the coffee region and get some Colombian coffee for our trip back to the United States. Denise Jefferson, not only are you giving a masterclass in K1 visa process, you are saving us a whole bunch of Benjamins. That's the goal. You know, I get frustrated when someone tells me, "Hey, I just spent $4,000 for my K1 from my immigration attorney," and I'm like, "Dude, why did you spend that money? It's not difficult." So I said, "Okay, I got to put a channel together. I got to put a YouTube channel together, and I've probably saved people. I've probably saved it's about 280,000, 300,000 people that have been in and out of the channel, okay? And I've probably saved about $7 million for them over the past year in immigration attorney fees. That's a lot of money, and I'm glad to do it. Let's see. Daggy said I missed 2 questions. Daggy, you asked me lots and lots of questions. I'm sorry if I miss them. Daggy, how does the case number start? I don't know. Whatever order it comes in, Daggy. Let me see. Is K1 immigrant or non-immigrant? Okay, Daggy, that's a good question. Let me explain to you the category for the K1 visa. Is it immigrant or non-immigrant? Okay. It's treated as a non-immigrant visa at the embassy interview, okay, for the financial part of it. So you go into you gotta be at 100%, okay, of federal income guidelines on the I-134. You got to be equal to or above 100% of the minimum income, right, for a K1 visa. So a K1 visa is being treated the same as a B2 tourist visa, which is a non-immigrant visa. But when you get to the United States, it gets treated as an immigrant visa because you're going to change from tourist, I guess you'd call it, to permanent resident. Brian and Jacqueline, high five. Man, thank you for the super chat there. Thank you. Now, I'm not sure if it's super chat or super sticker, but I'm just saying super chat because I don't know the difference. Mountain Dew's on us. Okay, Brian and Jacqueline, you got it. Brian, Jacqueline, and Pete, thank you. I got Mountain Dews now in fact, I'm going to Walmart tomorrow. I want to pick up my Mountain Dews for the rest of the week. So the K1 visa is treated as a non-immigrant visa, but it's listed on embassy websites as an immigrant visa. So to try to unconfuse you guys with this, okay, think of it like this. You go into the embassy as a non-immigrant. With an I-134, you got to be 100% of the minimum income requirements. You leave the embassy as an immigrant visa because when you get to the United States, you got to adjust the status to green card, okay? But if you look on embassy websites, it's going to say immigrant visa. You click on immigrant visa, and then it's going to list K1. But then it's going to say it's treated as a non-immigrant visa. So the U.S. government love to make things complicated, especially on their websites for USCIS. So think of the K1 as an immigrant visa. Treat it as an immigrant visa, but in fact, it's really not. It's a non-immigrant till you get to the USA. Let's see. Mountain Dew on us. Yeah, Brian and Jacqueline, you got that right. And Pete B too. And Denise, thank you also again, guys. You're so generous. I appreciate you guys. Tejaswini Mumadi. Hi, Diego. My case was reached at the NVC on June 26th, okay? And my beneficiary is from India, beautiful India. Okay, so when can I expect my welcome letter? August or September? Right. Well, June, July, August, end of September, beginning of October. Look for the first week of October. And don't forget, Tejaswini, that your beneficiary will have the visa interview at the consulate in Mumbai, not at the embassy in New Delhi. The embassy in New Delhi does not do K1 visa interviews. Only at the consular office in Mumbai, Okay. So the first week of October, you should start seeing the welcome letter. Okay. Daggy, how do we schedule the interview appointment? Okay, Daggy, when you get the case number and the invoice number, when you got both of those two things, then the embassy is telling you they're ready for you. Then you go ahead and process the interview. You schedule the interview. You got to have three things. You got to have a ready status from the embassy. You got to have a case number and an invoice number. The case number is assigned by the National Visa Center. The invoice number is assigned by the embassy after the ready status. So what the NVC is doing by giving you the case number is telling you, hey guys, we got your case, we got your visa, we've assigned it a number, it's in our system. What we're doing now is we're waiting for the embassy to free up so we can send it to them. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you get the welcome letter, there's the case number, and then everybody's having a heart attack. Well, it's the invoice number, I can't do anything. There's a reason for that. The embassy is not ready for you, okay? So the USCIS have washed their hands of your package. The NVC is now responsible for it. The NVC, National Visa Center in New Hampshire, create a case number, but they don't give you an invoice number because they're stopping you from processing the embassy stage for right now because the embassy is not ready for you. When the embassy is ready for you, you get the ready status in the SIAC account. Then you get the invoice number. Then everything comes together. It all comes together, and then you can process for the visa, schedule the interview, pay the fee, and do the DS-160. Denise Jefferson, Diego, I heard that there is a high denial rate for B2 visas. That's correct. Also, the process taking just as long. Longer. Waste of time. It's a waste of time and money. Or a good idea while you wait. Don't waste your time, money on a B2 visa and a K1 visa process. Can the NVC decline a K1 visa, or is it USCIS? The NVC has zero authority over your visa, okay? The NVC has the authority to assign you a case number, or if they find a mistake in the visa package, send it back to USCIS. That's it. The NVC has no authority to deny a visa. Zero authority. They can either ship it to the embassy for adjudication, or they can send it back to USCIS for re-adjudication. And Linda's asking me here, did you skip over me? Linda, let me see. Where's your question, Linda? Linda. Okay, Linda Gibbs. So we should wait for the ready letter before we do anything. That's right, because the letter will tell us what to do next. That's it. You got it, Linda. High five to Linda. You wait for the ready status. That means the embassy is ready for you. That means you can schedule the interview, pay the visa fee, and fill out the DS-160 and schedule the medical exam. And you want to get all that done within 3 weeks so the DS-160 doesn't expire. That's the goal. Everything is well coordinated. Immigration hired some really intelligent people to put this program together. As much as I, get frustrated with it sometimes, just like you guys get frustrated with it, it's a good process. Bud Garcia, no, NVC cannot deny K1 visas. All they can do is assign case numbers and ship it to the embassy. Only the embassy and USCIS can deny K1 visas. The NVC have no authority to do that. So Denise, yeah, B2 visas, like our friend, we got friends in Bogota, Colombia. Okay, he's the pastor of a church and he owns a bunch of businesses. He's the I guess I don't know he's the capitalist king of this part of Bogota. Okay, very wealthy guy, very intelligent, owns like 5 or 6 businesses. Plus, he's the pastor of a church, and he wanted to go to Florida to go to one of his family members' weddings. It took 640 days before he got his B2 visa interview at the embassy in Bogota. He went in there with his wife, and they denied him a tourist visa. I wrote a letter on his behalf saying I would vouch for him that he would come back to Colombia after his vacation, which he will. He's got so much stuff invested in Colombia. They still denied his visa, B2. So you know what he did? He went to Brazil on vacation and spent a ton of money there. The U.S. is losing billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars in tourist revenue from tourists because they keep denying visas for tourists. But the reason they're doing it is because a lot of people are abusing the B2 tourist visa. They're coming to the United States and they're getting married on a B2 visa. And immigration is getting frustrated, so they're just saying, oh, forget it. We'll just block all B2s. Let me see. So, Daggy, how do we schedule the interview? You got to wait for the ready status and the invoice number. Denise Jefferson, yeah, I answered that. Bud Garcia, got that. Daggy, can you please tell me the website of the MVC, the SEAC? It's on your welcome letter. I don't have it on the top of my head right now. But once you get the welcome letter, okay, it's going to tell you the website to go to. And maybe I'll just make a video about it so everybody can get that information. Linda, no, did I get your answer? Linda, did I answer your question? One security squad. Can I just send you my stuff and pay you to put my package together with all information? One security squad. I'll help you get through this. You don't have to pay me. I'll help you put a K1 visa package together, one security squad, where you have a successful, winning K1 visa package for free. Okay? For free. I'm not going to charge you. I'm not going to charge anybody for this information. If you need help with it, okay, I'll help you with it. Guy Trainer, my K1 visa was approved on May 20th, 2023, and my NOA2 was misplaced by the mailman. Did you make a copy of it? They resent it July 7th, 2023. Now it says my approval says July 7th. Does MVC have my paperwork? Sounds like they do. If you got an your NOA2 was misplaced. So they lost your NOA2 letter. The mailman messed up, lost your NOA2 letter. You can get a new NOA2 letter, just ask for a new one. Explain what happened. Now it says my approval date, July 7th. So you should get now you just got to wait for your NOA2 letter. You applied for a new one, you just got to wait for the new one. Guy Trainer, NOA1. If you got an NOA1 letter, they got your visa package. Yes. Jacqueline Swan, Diego, when you do a spousal visa, do the embassy schedule the interview? Yes. When you do a CR1, IR1 spousal visa, which is a nightmare at the MVC level, by the way, I've been there, done that. It's a nightmare. But the only good thing about it is the MVC will schedule your visa interview for you. Not in a K1 visa process. In the K1, the sponsor, the beneficiary, has to schedule the visa interview. In a spousal visa, the MVC schedules the visa interview for you. Do you think it is better to wait for an appointment or to change for a spousal visa? Here's my recommendation, Jacqueline. Do the K1 visa, okay? It's easy. If you do a spousal visa, you got to go through this entire process just like a K1, but once your K1 visa gets to the MVC, then it goes into the holding status. You know, it's like they're trying to turn your spousal visa into fine wine, and they're going to let it sit for 6 months on a shelf while they wait for you to get documentarily qualified. You have a lot of work to do at the MVC level if you go through a spousal visa. You get your SEAC account. You've got to upload passports, police certificates, birth certificates, second letters of intent to get married. And you have to upload all this information in a very specific order. Passports. Okay, take this for example. When I went to the spousal visa back in 2017, okay, I uploaded my passport and my beneficiary's passport together where it said passports. I uploaded it. I got an email from the MVC. You messed up, Diego. You got to submit the passports individually. I said, okay, no big deal. So I went to UPS and they emailed them to me separately. I don't have that capability here. And then I uploaded them separately. It took them 3 months to look at my case. I had to wait 3 months just to correct that error. I will not ever go through a spousal visa, ever. It's a nightmare. K1 visa is easy. The process is easy. Why is it a nightmare? Jacqueline asked me, why is it a nightmare? Because when you get to the MVC level, if you make a mistake, it costs you 3 months of time. If you make a second mistake, that's 3 more months. If you make a third mistake, that's 3 more months. And there's lots of people can't even put a K1 visa package together without getting an RFE. Okay? You could add a year to your wait time going through a spousal visa. Now, I'm not trying to scare you, but it's a fact. It cost me an extra year, 9 months on top of the 3 months because of this and in COVID. K1 visa is easy. K1 visa goes to the lockbox in Dallas, goes to the service center, probably California. They send it to the NVC in New Hampshire. They send it to the embassy. You go to the face-to-face, you're done. There's your visa. Spousal visa goes to the lockbox in Dallas, goes to California, goes to the NVC. Then you're in a hold. Then you're like an airplane in a holding pattern waiting to land because the runways are full of planes. Oof. I hope that explained it. But on the plus side, the MVC will schedule the visa interview. It's hurry up and wait, PB. You're right. Fred Subkey, my fiance will not be bringing her daughter when we do the K1. Will this be a problem? No, but you have to include the daughter on the I-129F, Fred. She has to be included on the K1 visa package, okay? Immigration want to know what kids are going to be with what kids your beneficiary has. Whether they come to the United States or not is not a problem to immigration. But you have to include that child on the I-129F. You have to include that child at the visa interview and the I-134. You got to fill out an I-134. Get the child a K2 visa in the passport. The child then has a year to use that K1 visa from the date of the medical exam. And then when you fill out the DS-160, you're going to put child is following in the future. If the child decides he or she doesn't want to come to the United States, that's no problem either. But you got to go through that process with the child. You got to get the K2. You got to do the DS-160. You got to do the medical exam. You got to do the I-134. You got to do all that. The child needs to come to the visa interview. So immigration can see the child and ask the child, hey, are you staying? Do you want to stay in your home country? Do you not want to come to the United States? The immigration officer needs an opportunity to ask that question of the child. And that's congressional law right there, okay? If the child comes to the United States or not is up to the beneficiary, is up to you. Child doesn't have to accompany you. The child may have friends and family, wants to live with grandma, uncles, or aunts, or whatever. And that's perfectly fine. But you have to go through the process of the K2. And then the child has the K2 in the passport. And the child has a year to make a decision on whether he or she wants to use it. If a year passes, the visa is terminated. If the child in the future decides he or she wants to come live in America, then you have to file for a family petition on an I-130. Okay? I hope that explained it to you. So, Fred, it's okay not to bring the child to the USA. It's okay. But immigration needs to ask the child that question. Immigration needs to see the child. Immigration needs to see a record of that child on your I-129F. Okay? Got to see a record. And another thing that happens in that case is this. When you adjust the status to green card, even though the child is still in the beneficiary's home country, that's fine. But when you fill out the adjustment of status, you have to include that child as a dependent. Okay? That child is your dependent. Even though she is not in America, he or she is in wherever, you are responsible for that child till he or she is 18 years old. And you have to include that child on the adjustment of status paperwork. Okay? Then when your beneficiary, when she applies for U.S. citizenship and files for the citizenship, immigration is going to ask you, oh, you got a child that lives in this country. Okay, no problem. Show me evidence of financial support. So in order for your beneficiary to get a U.S. citizenship, you got to prove that you financially supported the child that stayed behind in the home country. Okay, good information, right? You won't get that from an attorney. You won't get that information from anybody but here on this channel, right? It's good stuff, and it's helping you. Daggy, how do I create a SEAC account? On the welcome letter, there's a explanation on how to do that. Okay, let's see here. I want to make a video about it. I can't explain it right here on a live stream. Jacqueline Swan, getting an interview with Ankara is very hard. No open slots. Keep trying, Jacqueline. You got to keep going every day. Keep going. Kaiser H. Diego, is the 90 days pretty much the standard wait time NVC letter, or is it case by case? Because there have been people who've got it sooner. What's your suggestion? My suggestion is don't look at people who've got it sooner. Just assume it's 90 days. If you get it sooner, have a big party that you got it sooner. But if you know in your mind it's going to be 90 days, you're not going to be impatient. You're not going to be having headaches. You're not going to be checking your phone every day. You know you're going to wait for 90 days. Just wait for the 90 days. If you get it sooner, okay, boom, celebration, right? But don't ever compare your visa to somebody else's, because my visa is in Bogota, going to go to Bogota, Colombia. Your visa could be going somewhere else. Different embassy, different times. Everything is totally, the whole world is rotating, and all the embassies are rotating with the world, but every embassy operates differently. One security squad, B2 visa, what's that? A B2 visa is a tourist visa. Kimini Young, Angel, keep busy. I'm working on a degree while I wait. Good. Just keep busy. It's what Diego always tells us. Keep busy. Don't think about it. Don't count days. Stay busy, busy, busy. I'm planning a trip to the coffee region of Colombia with Karina. You know, Antigua, Caldas, Quindio, Risaralda, somewhere like that. Let's see. Tina, let's see. Angel, yeah. Tina, thank you, Diego, for explaining how the spousal visa works. No problem. At least I have an idea how it differs from K1. Yeah, the spousal visa differs from the K1 in two basic ways. At the NVC, you got to upload documents and you got to get documentary qualified. But the NVC will schedule the interview for you. And that's about it. Denise Jefferson, one security squad. B2 is the visitor's visa. Yeah, generally used for a short stay. Yeah, that's correct. Tina, I hear that the spousal processing time is the same as K1. It's about the same, unless you mess up on the spousal visa during the NVC processing. Then it's double for a spousal visa because you messed up at the NVC. The responsibility is all on you for the NVC processing. Pete B, the father of my fiance won't let them go to the interview. Okay, well, then you need to, then your beneficiary needs to write a letter explaining that, and and she needs to sign a letter of affidavit explaining that, and bring that to the interview. You got to have a letter explaining that. If they might ask for it, where's the child? Well, here's an affidavit from the father. Have the father write a letter of affidavit explaining that. Okay, that will cover you. And if he won't do it, then your beneficiary needs to write a letter of affidavit saying that the father will not let the child attend the visa interview. The father will not write a letter of affidavit. This is his name. This is his phone number. This is his address. If you, Mr. Immigration, if you want to contact the child's father to verify this letter, here's his contact information. Boom. Then you're covered. Trust me, man. I'm going to get you through this, okay? Pete B, trust me on that. Trust me, okay? Do that. Janice, he paid for the visa. It took years to get an interview and was denied. Waste of money. Total, yeah, B2 tourist visa, total waste of money. My friend waited 600 and something days, paid the visa fees, and lost it. Colombia. Jacqueline Swan, Diego, I'm also going to change work so I can go see my fiance every other month while we wait for the appointment. I will report that change in the 864. I think it should be okay. Yeah, you don't have to. If you change jobs, Jacqueline, you just, when you fill out the I-134, okay, when you do the Declaration of Financial Support, you just put in there, this is where I work now. And then when you adjust the status to green card, you say, this is where I work. It's easy. Don't even worry about it. You don't even have to tell USCIS. They don't have time. They'll get the letter, throw it in the trash. Don't even waste your time. Just notify immigration at the embassy level and at the adjustment of status level, and you're good to go. Jacqueline, I don't think you'll qualify for a B2 visa at this time. Don't even waste the time with it. Don't waste your time with it. Jacqueline, thank you for your information. No problem, Jacqueline. That's why you guys are here, right? For information, and it's free. You can't beat it. And I'm good for Mountain Dew for next week, and Denise has covered me for dinner with Karina. Angel, Denise, my fiance, was denied twice for the visitor visa. Angel Tate is not an issue for a K1, okay? It's not an issue. If you've been denied 50 times for a visitor visa, it's got nothing to do with a K1 visa. A K1 visa is a visa for a one-way trip from your home country to the United States of America. It's from your home country for a one-way trip, no return, right? A B2 visa gives you permission to enter and leave the United States at will for 10 years. Difference, big difference. B2 visa, if it's got denied, don't worry about it. Flush it as an experience. Experience and a lesson learned. Don't waste your money on it. Just wait for the K1. So don't worry about it, Angel Tate. April Flower, hi Diego. Will the bank account of the sponsor be checked? No. The USCIS do not have time to check bank accounts, and they got to get a warrant to do so. You have Fourth Amendment protections under the Constitution. Okay, you are protected under the Fourth Amendment, but you do need to present bank statements willingly. I'm going to bring 12 months worth of bank statements to the embassy interview to give to Karina, to give to the embassy. Okay, that's me willingly doing that. Okay, you know, I was in Colombia in 2022 for 10 months. I didn't work for a year. My 2022 tax return was pitiful. Okay, I wasn't working. So I have to explain it to immigration. Diego, what happened in 2022? This is what happened. I was in Colombia for a year. I didn't work, but I got my Navy retirement, which is more than enough to cover 100+%. Okay. So I wrote a letter, and I kept every receipt. When we went to the supermarket, the supermercado, Centro Comercial, I bought food and stuff. You know, yo compro comida para mi familia. I'm buying food. I kept all the receipts. I got a stack of receipts like this for the year I was in Colombia, or the 10 months. That's going in my adjustment of status paperwork. And it's going also to the visa interview, because they're going to look at my tax return. Okay. But I'm not worried about it. I got it covered. Nikita Ajani, we just got an RFE. Okay, no problem. How long do you think it will take for our approval? It's about 2 to 6 weeks. And where does it specify what documents we need to send in? It's not online. They'll send you a letter. Okay, when I got my RFE back in 2016, when I did this process the first time, I didn't identify which website I make my beneficiary on. So I just they gave me strict directions. Here's a cover sheet. This goes on top of the information we're requesting. We need to know, what website did you meet your beneficiary on? Okay. Well, I went into my credit card account, found where I had joined this online dating website. I had proof that I had paid to join this account. I had evidence. I printed the credit card receipt. Then I wrote a letter to immigration. This is where I met my beneficiary. I apologize for not including it in my, it was in my letter of intent to get married. I didn't include it in that. And then I sent it in, and 2 weeks later, I got my visa approved. So it's just a matter of following directions. So RFE is easy to respond to, and you'll get your approval as long as you got the information they want. If you don't have the information they ask for, then there's a problem. Brian and Jacqueline, you definitely want to visit Quindío. It's absolutely beautiful and so peaceful there. Brian and Jacqueline, on your advice, I'm going to take Karina to Quindio. I'm going to go to Quindio because you said it's a calm place. And after going through this immigration stuff, I want a calm place, right? Just like you guys. Let's see. Jacqueline, Diego, I learned more from you than anyone else. Good luck to you and Karina. Jacqueline, well, we appreciate the comments and the positive feedback. And Karina sends you her respects also. She's watching on her big flat screen TV in her business that she's helping with her friend. You know, I told Karina, I said, hey, run the videos. Let Colombians see what's going on in Florida with you guys. Pete B, he won't. Okay, Pete B, here's what you do. You have your beneficiary write a letter of affidavit saying that the father of the child, okay, will not let him attend the visa interview and will not let him leave the country or whatever. And his address is here. His phone number is here. This is his email address. Immigration, if you wish to contact this gentleman to verify this information, here's his contact information. Then your beneficiary will sign it and date it, okay? And then get it notarized at the notary in the beneficiary's home country. If you do that, you're covered. You're good to go. He will do anything to screw it up. Yes, PB. People are people, PB, and you got to forgive them and pray for them and forgive them, but don't take any disrespect. And if you do what I said, you will be just fine, okay, my friend? You'll get it. You'll get the visa, no problem. Yes, immigration sees this all the time, but lots of people don't know how to respond to it. But I know the answer to the problem. I know the answer to the problem, and I gave you the solution, and you're going to be just fine, okay? Jacqueline, the I-134 is already done many months ago. Okay, but remember, Jacqueline, you gotta watch out that it doesn't expire. Make sure you don't, make sure that form doesn't expire. Check the expiration date. Okay. In August, I'm gonna on the YouTube live stream. Check back with us in August, and I will go over the I-134 with you guys and let you guys know if it is expired or not. Jacqueline, the embassy has the okay. The embassy has it. Okay, I got you. No, then you're good. I will wait until he has it. He is here, and I'll do the 864 with the new job information. Gotcha, Jacqueline. Now I understand where you're at in the process. You're all good. You're perfect. April Flower, thank you. If I change the job, how do I update the information? April Flower, when you fill out the declaration of financial support, the I-134, and then the adjustment of status, that's when you notify immigration of the new job. Don't write to USCIS at the service center. Dear USCIS, I got a new job. They'll throw the letter in the trash. They don't have time to go look for your visa package. Okay, there's 100,000 visa packages on their shelves. They don't have time. When you fill out the I-134 and then adjust status to green card, that's when you notify immigration of your new job. And let's see. Lucilla Flor. Hi, Diego. Good morning from the Philippines. Kamusta ka, Lucilla? We've withdrawn our K-1 visa because it was filed after 2 years. Okay, we're going to start over again. Do we have to attach our withdrawn application together with the new one? Yes. Lucilla, I'm sorry to hear that, okay? But on a positive note, things are getting faster and faster now. So you did a good thing on withdrawing the visa and not waiting for a denial. Be proactive. You were proactive. So high five, Lucilla. You did good. Okay, so you withdrew it. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to reapply. But this time you've been together face to face within the 2 years before you submit it for the second time. Okay, write a little letter in your second K-1 visa application. Dear immigration, dear USCIS, I apologize. I did not, comply with the requirements for my first K-1 visa request. And here's what I did. I withdrew my visa to comply with the rules, and now I'm resubmitting within compliance. I apologize for any extra work this may have created you. If you do that, okay, and sign it and date it, immigration will be happy as can be, okay, and they won't give you a hard time. So Lucilla, hang in there. You're going to be just fine. Just do what I said. You'll be good. Jacqueline Swan, Diego, how much money if you don't work and move to another country you should have in the bank to bring your fiance or spouse here? Okay. How much money if you don't work and move to another country you should have in the bank? Well, if you don't live in the United States, if you're not domiciled in the United States, you can't apply. The visa is not valid. You got to be domiciled in the United States. Okay. Now, immigration don't care about how much money you have in the bank. They care about how much money you make. Okay. So you don't want to get into that position. What I did with Karina, I mean, I could very easily get up and move and live in Colombia with Karina, get an M visa, get a retirement visa, and live in Colombia with Karina and wait for this visa process to go through. But immigration will look at that like they won't take too kindly to that. They want to see me in America, being productive, doing something, and going through the process. Okay. What I would do is just go visit, stay a month, come back. If you're financially able to, go stay 2 months, come back 2 months. Whatever you can do. You're going to get tired of airplanes. I'm sick and tired of airplanes. I don't care for airports at all. Okay. But we get through it, right? We get through it. Jacqueline, I would just say go there for 3 months, here for 3 months, there for 3 months, here for 3 months. I know it's hard being separated. Okay. But once you get through this process, once you get through it, all this separation, all these nightmares, all this stress, it's all going to be gone. It's all going to be history. Denise Jefferson, Diego, this live chat is on fire. Come on, guys. Mountain Dews are in order. Denise, I appreciate you, Denise. Denise, you already fed us today. We appreciate your super chat. And Brian and Jacqueline also. And everybody. Okay. Brian and Jacqueline, if you do go to Quindío, we're going to go to Quindío. I would also visit Salento and Pereira. Okay, it's about an hour away from Armenia. Quindío, we had a really good time there, and it's also really beautiful. Okay. What I'll do is, Karina is the navigator because she speaks Spanish, and I speak Spanish pretty good, but she knows how to get around on the buses. She can negotiate with the taxis. She's a good negotiator. I watched her bargain over this hat right here. We got this hat. She bought me this hat, and she negotiated for that like a good capitalist. Woof! So she's the negotiator. So I will mention those places to her, and we'll plan it out. Okay. And then when I'm in the hotel room, we'll find some hotel with good Wi-Fi, and we'll continue with the live stream. Jacqueline, so Diego, when you pay for the visa and can't get appointment, do you think embassy will give you an appointment, or should I sue? No, you don't sue the embassy at this point because your visa is still good. Even though you paid for the visa, it's good. It's not until September 30th. And then you got to stay in contact with immigration. Email them twice a month, and your visa remains active. So don't worry about that right now, okay? But Brian and Jacqueline, we're going to go to Quindío. I hope I pronounced that right. Pete B, thank you, Diego. No problem, Pete B. Sometimes you get, the other party, the other parent wants to be difficult. And, I know exactly what you're going through, all right? So you just got to overcome it. You don't get angry. You look at the situation, you look at the problem, and you solve the problem. And you solve the problem by getting your beneficiary to write a letter of affidavit explaining the problem. But you got to put contact information on the letter for the father. Immigration are not going to go contact the boy's father or the young. They're not. They don't have time. But by virtue of the fact that you put that information, the contact information on the letter, okay, brings transparency to the problem, and immigration will approve you. Brian and Jacqueline, LOL, I'm in the same boat. I let my fiance do all the negotiations. There you go. I tell you what, Karina's a negotiator. She's great. We were in Cartagena, and she negotiated for this hat right here. And then we're in Bogota, and she negotiated for this hat. I mean, Cartagena, she's haggling over like 50 cents, and she won. I'm like, good gracious, good job. So I bought her a big slap up dinner that night on the beach in Cartagena. Lucilla, thank you so much, Diego. My warm regards to you. And Karina, Lucilla, no problem. Tambien, para ti. But no, Lucilla, you're in Philippines. You're in the Philippines. I don't speak Tagalog, Lucilla. I know how to say kumusta ka. I can say this in Tagalog. Mahidat ang buhay. Do you know what I said? It's probably a terrible pronunciation. Jacqueline Swan, my visa is good until September 2024. I'm hoping to get an appointment by then. Yeah, you will. Definitely. You will. Nikita Ajani, I'm so upset about the RFE. Why? An RFE means immigration's looking at your K-1 visa package. An RFE means immigration's looking at your visa. They took it. They touched it. They took it off the shelf. They found a little boo-boo, and all you got to do is fix it. Don't be sad. Be happy. Be happy they're working it. You just got to get them the information. Denise Jefferson, Diego, it's disheartening to know that it can take an additional 6 months for NVC for interview to see our fiance. It's like torture. Yeah, it's torture. I would much rather be in Bogota, Colombia with Karina right now doing a live stream. Okay? We'd have our cat Tokyo running around, knocking the computer over, probably touching the camera. But he's entertaining. Our cat's fun. Okay? You know, he climbs up in the roof sometimes, and our landlord in Bogota gets angry because the cat's climbing up in the roof. But I said, look, I'm paying the rent. The cat wants to climb in the roof. Let him climb in the roof. We'll be in Florida soon. Anyway. Nikita Ajane, we applied exactly 1 year today. Good job. It's time's passing. Fakira, hi Diego. Our NOA 1 is the 20th of January, 2023. I have a question. I had minor charges, but I have police clearance certificate. Do you think it's okay for K1? Minor charges, non-felonious, no felonies, no domestic abuse, no, bar fights. You'd be all right. Immigration, no, we're all human beings. Nobody's perfect, right? Nobody's perfect. Only one person is perfect, okay? We're not perfect. We make mistakes. Immigration understand that. But if the mistake was somebody abused a child or was domestic abuse towards his or her fiance, that's no good. But if it's not serious, don't worry, you're good. Immigration, as long as you disclose it and tell immigration about it, they see that you're being transparent, you're not trying to hide anything, you'll be perfectly fine. So Fakira, relax, okay? Jacqueline, Denise, I'm sorry, I know the feeling. It's tough, guys. Jacqueline, Denise, okay? Karina wants to be with me. She'd rather be here in Florida, although it's like, 78 degrees right now in the nighttime. She's used to being in 40-degree weather. So I don't know how she's going to adjust to this hot weather. But she's from Caracas, Venezuela, so she's used to hot weather. She's a beach girl from Venezuela. She lived in the side of the mountain, and, she's a capitalist entrepreneur. She had her own house, beautiful beach. And, the Venezuelan government turned into a communist dictatorship. So she said, I'm out of here. And she got asylum in Colombia. Okay, a few more questions and I'm out of here too. And I appreciate those super chats, guys. The Mountain Dew will be purchased tomorrow. Kaiser H, Diego, once my beneficiary gets her K1 visa approved in her passport, then what is the time frame she'll be able to get her passport from the embassy? It takes about a week to 10 days. When you go into this, once you schedule the visa interview, they're going to ask you questions. Where do you want a passport to be delivered to? What courier service? Where do you want it to be picked up? For Karina, it will be Kaye, whatever. I'll put in there, pick up the passport here, closest to our apartment. It takes about a week to 10 days for them to process the visa. If it's going to take longer than a week to 10 days, Immigration will say to you, Mr. Beneficiary, Ms. Beneficiary, expect your visa in about 2 weeks or 3 weeks or however long it is. But they'll tell you at the visa interview how long after you get approved, how long it's going to be before you get your passport. Because I know it's not fun to be sitting around in a strange country without a passport in your hand, and you want to get home to America and get married to your sponsor. For Denise, Jacqueline, I don't know whether to be jealous as you are at the end of the process. This group is praying that things start to move. We're all praying for everybody. I don't care what your religion is, we're all praying for you. Okay? I don't care what you are. You can be a Christian, Muslim, Hindu, whatever. We love everybody in here. To Mr. Nahas, let's say 2 years passed and you're waiting for processing. Do they deny it because of that? No. Well, they look at when you met with her. Okay, now listen up, Mr. Nahas. When you were face to face with your beneficiary, with your fiance, okay, you have to apply for the K1 visa before 2 years has passed. If 2 years and a week has passed, or 2 years and a day has passed, then you don't qualify for the visa. You got to apply for the K1 visa within that 2 years that you were together in person. Okay? You got it? All right. High five, Mr. Nahas. Okay, guys. I appreciate you all spending your evening with us here together. And I forgot what day it is. What day is it today? Can you believe today's Monday? Wednesday, we'll be back at 7 p.m. to continue the chat. And Craig Williams has a question. Well, why is NVC so long? They're busy. They're busy. They got lots of work to do. Okay, it's like you got a football stadium full of people and everybody wants it today. It doesn't work like that. You got to be patient. Patience is the key. Calm, relax, patience. Okay, calm, relax, patience. And I'm going to go to Quindio with Karina. Forget the letter, Craig Williams. The letter says 30 days. Forget the letter. The USCIS says it's taken 16 and a half months to process an NOA2 letter. It's taken 12 months. Disregard the letter. Disregard the 4-month expiration date. Disregard it. Just wait 90 days. Within that 90 days or 100 days, somewhere in there, you're going to get the NVC welcome letter. Jacqueline, good chat today. Guys, I'm going to go drink a Mountain Dew because PB has got me, and Jacqueline and Brian, they got me stocked up on Mountain Dews for the rest of the week. I hope you had fun, and we will see you guys Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central Time.